Hey traders, it's the weekend, and on the weekend I really like to work on myself, my strategy, getting ready for the upcoming week. And I thought I'd shoot a video on what my trade plan is going to look like moving forward as I document getting multiple funded trading accounts. So for those of you that are new, I'm trying to get multiple funded accounts through these funding firms. They have a 90% profit share. That, for every dollar you make, you get to keep 90% of the profits. And I just want to go over my trade plan on how I'm going to break $1 million, hopefully in a year. And I know this might get some hate and some, whatever, like that's impossible kind of attitude. But let me break it down for you. I'm not trying to convince you that I'm going to get this done. I do believe that in a few principles on how to get there, and they're pretty sound and they make a lot of sense. So let me break it down, and then I'll get into the worksheet and how it might help you. Okay. First principle is going to be I think you have to have audacious goals. It's good to be realistic, but also it's good to have something that's way beyond what you think is realistic. Because if you think about it, if you reach for those goals and if you fall short, you're probably going to be way more successful than if you just had a reasonable goal. So by having $1 million goal in a year, if I hit 100 grand, just 1/10 of that seems a lot more plausible. But now since I've kind of set up my plan to reach $1 million, it's more likely that I'll hit it, and I have to take massive action and really understand my, break down a strategy, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. But it starts with having an audacious goal, and it's hard to share it with people because you get a lot of hate, or people say that's impossible, and it's not really whether it's possible or not. It's the fact that I want to have an audacious goal to try to achieve. Even if I don't hit it, I should, if I come under the mark, that's a success regardless, right? The second principle is that I want to start small. And in the case of trading futures, I'm going to trade starting with micros and then work my way up into actual full-size contracts. And I'll show you how I do that. And the third thing is that by doing all this, by zooming out and looking at the bigger picture, it gives you perspective on how long it will really take to get to your goal. And what's interesting that is in the beginning, it takes very long, but then you can see if you have some kind of scaling plan that's not linear, but more like logarithmic, not exponential, I would say, but kind of logarithmic, if you understand that, how fast it can accelerate. And so let me show you exactly what I mean by all this. So I made it a worksheet, and it's really simple. It looks complex, but it's pretty simple. I'm trading the NQ. Right, the NASDAQ is $20 a point. I'm going to start with $50,000 evaluation accounts, and then once I get funded, it'll be a $50,000 funded account, right? And then I have kind of how many points of risk I'm going to risk per trade, and what my reward is going to be per trade. So I have 30 points risk, 60 points reward. So it's a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio in my particular strategy. So the funding account that I use, I can have a link in the description, and it's 50% off discount for lifetime, funding fees. But I plan on getting multiple funded accounts. So some of these funding firms will let you trade multiple accounts at the same time, which this one does. And then also, they have something for NinjaTrader called a trade copier, which is when I put on a trade for one account, it replicates that across multiple accounts. And so that's how you're able to trade multiple accounts at the same time and scale and preserve capital, really, and take limited risk by spreading it out across multiple accounts. And I'm looking at a 50% win rate. And so and that's pretty reasonable. 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, 50% win rate are kind of the numbers that I'm seeing when I look at my analysis of how I trade. And so to break down what that means and how long it'll take, I'm looking at after 90% profit share and roughly after 1 year of trading, 1.1 million take home. How do I get there? How does this number scale up? Well, really, I'm starting, and I'm doing this right now, so it's already been 1 week into this, and this is holding true. So it looks like I'll be able to get to my $3,000 profit goal, right, for my first account, just by trading. 0.3 is basically 3 micros. So trading 3 micros, it should take me about 3 weeks to get to $3,000, right? And then I'll have a 90% profit share where I can withdraw $2,700. However, I don't plan on withdrawing probably until the 4th month. Okay. I just want to build up enough capital so I can take on more risk, have more contracts, trade well, and be consistent. And so that's, with one account. Then, so if that takes 3 weeks, great. If I achieve that goal, I'm going to bump up to a full-size contract where I'm risking $600 to make $1,200. So I can attempt, within 13 trades, I can hit this goal of $7,500, my next goal, with a 50% win rate. So about 13 trades gives me about 3 weeks time. This trades to goal is if I hit 100% streak. So if I hit 6 trades in a row, I've hit that 7,500. This helps me kind of identify that it's possible. If I wait for high probability setups and I get a better, rather than, FOMOing in trades and everything, 6 in a row, I've done that before. That's totally possible. I've hit up to 8 in a row. So it's possible to advance even faster if I wait for perfect setups and not kill myself with giving money back, right? And so that's just the motivation of this column here. And so looking at this, it takes me 3 weeks to get my first goal, another 3 weeks to get my second goal, and this is kind of the accumulation in weeks. All in all, this sounds really reasonable, right? One account, all of this. So just these two, if you say this sounds reasonable in this small amount, it's really not that long amount of time, 6 weeks, then what really becomes kind of like the magic to this, where does the scaling come in, is having multiple accounts and using that trade copier. And so, I could show you how to get to the trade copier too, if you're interested in using for NinjaTrader. It's about $300. It's not my product. I'm not trying to sell it to you. It's just something that I use. And I can bring it up right now. And so if you click on the link to, that I'll give you, you can also sign up for an account if you want. Where is it? So it'll take you here. You can go to Trading Tools, and there's the trade copier right here, right? So this is the funding firm that I'm using. And then you don't have to use them to use a trade copier. It just works with NinjaTrader. And I use the $50,000 full account. The discount code, SAVE50, once you click on the link, will give you half off of this, $167 a month. So here's the profit goal. You can go for different size contracts. I like the 50K because the withdraw amounts, if you have multiple accounts, it just makes sense. And they have some content on why this, having multiple accounts also makes sense for withdrawals and preserving capital. Because once you hit a profit target, the more capital you have in there, the more contracts you could trade because you could take on more risk. And so it's good to build up an account with cash before you start taking withdrawals. And that's why I like the $50,000 accounts and having multiple. I'd rather have one $50,000 account than 5 $250,000 funding accounts. You get more contract size. So if I have 5 of these, I get to control up to 50 full-size contracts versus 27. Yeah, I'm paying more monthly fees, but you have a lot of leverage there. And so that's one of the reasons why. So anyway, back to the spreadsheet. So considering that this is reasonable and I can accumulate more accounts, that's where the magic really comes in. By the time I'm done with this, I have 10 total accounts, and they're not all trading 10 contracts. Just the first one is. But the ninth account in this 10 total is trading, 9 contracts. And it's just, they're all lagging because I follow the same plan over and over again. This is going to accumulate. And so you can see the profits, they start doubling because I'm increasing the number of accounts. And so in this case, I have 4 total accounts, but the third one is lagging, right? So all these are lagging. So really, if I extend this out by 2 more months, it becomes $10 million. So that's kind of the idea behind the scaling plan. And it sounds ridiculous, check in with me in a year and see how I'm doing. But even if I get, 10% of that, I'd be happy. And so that's just something I want to share with you. Again, it's the weekend. This is how I kind of look at my trading strategy, because what it informs me is that if I take a little bit of time in the beginning and I stick to my plan, even with small size, 3 micros, just making $360 in a trade, giving myself 3 weeks, it takes a lot of the pressure off, right? Because in 1 year's time, I'll know I'll be light years ahead of where I'm at right now, just by being patient in the beginning and doing things right, and then following. And now I have a plan, right? And it gives me hope. It gives me the ability to adjust if I need to. And it just, having these small guidepost kind of goals and hitting them gives you a lot of encouragement. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if you guys want me to make more videos like this. I got a lot more thoughts about how you can break down different parts of your trading into kind of like business plans like this, and why you should think about them. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything, again, if you want to sign up and support the channel with Apex, just click the link in the description and then enter the discount code for 50% off. That really helps the channel out. And again, if you are interested in following my journey, subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing live trade videos. And also, if you want to get additional training, there'll be a link in the description where I go over my strategy. So when you click on that link, you get over to a page. It's a registration page, and you fill it in and you get instant access to the training, where I break down my strategy and how I got 5 funded accounts, or $250,000 in funding, $50,000 each account, in under 10 days. And I go over that in the training. So thank you very much. Have a great weekend. And I hope, next week will be a good, profitable week, and I'll hit this goal. All right. Thank you. Bye.